Hi, my name is Ashley Mark,
And I'm Sarah Musselwhite.
and today we will be discussing the effects of a single bout of moderate intensity exercise on cognition in mostly racial and ethnic minority college students. So, why is this important? Physical inactivity is greater among racial and ethnic minorities in the United States. According to the CDC, non-Hispanic Asian adults had the lowest prevalence of physical inactivity outside of work. They came in at 20.1%. This was followed by non-Hispanic white adults coming in at 23%, non-Hispanic American Indian / Alaska Native adults coming in at 29.1%, non-Hispanic Black adults coming in at 30%, and lastly, Hispanic adults coming in at 32.1%. As you can see in these graphs, there's a stark difference between non-Hispanic white adults' inactivity levels and those of the other races, those races being minorities. On the non-Hispanic white graph, you can see that most states fell into the 20 to 25% range of inactivity across the demographic, whereas on the minority graphs, most states fell into the 25% and higher range as far as inactivity. This data set could imply that physical activity is not as much of a priority in these minority communities as it is in the majority communities, and therefore this may negatively affect cognition in these populations. This study is working to investigate this problem further. Previous research suggests that exercise, even a single bout, could improve cognition. However, there are few investigations that have sought to replicate these findings in a sample of mostly racial and ethnic minority college students. This is especially important at UNCG as we are the most diverse university in North Carolina. This study aims to determine if acute exercise is beneficial to cognition in mostly racial and ethnic minority college students. It was hypothesized that exercise will improve cognition. As far as methods and demographics, 30 students from the university's population were chosen for this study. They were between the ages of 18 and 30, and of the 30, 22 were female and 8 were male. Of the 30 students, 14 reported as Black or African American, 9 reported as Caucasian, 3 reported as Asian, 3 reported as mixed or other, and 1 did not report. Each participant completed cognitive tasks before and after engaging in a 30-minute bout of aerobic exercise or a 30-minute bout of seated rest on separate days.
So the participants would come into the lab 2 days. So the first day they would be assigned a rest or exercise, and then they would come in exactly a week later and do the opposite of what they did. So on the rest day, they would complete the cognitive tasks, watch a 30-minute educational video, and then complete the cognitive tasks again. On the exercise day, they would complete the cognitive tasks, have a 30-minute bout of moderate intensity exercise, and then complete the cognitive tasks again at the end. The first cognition task they would take is the recognition memory task. So the participants would be required to memorize a list of 30 words during the study phase. There would be a delayed recognition task where they would have to see 30 words again from the study phase, intermixed and randomly presented with 30 new words. They would respond if they had seen the word before or not. The next task is the flanker task. The participant would pay attention to only the target fish in the center. They would respond as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible. They would press the left button if the fish in the middle was facing left, and the right button if the fish was facing the right side. So as you can see, not all of the fish are facing the same way. If they are facing the same way, it is a congruent trial. If they are not facing the same way, it is an incongruent trial. The last task is the change detection task, or the dot task. So the participants were required to fixate on the middle white dot. A memory array would flash on the screen, and then during the retention level, it would go away. The test array phase, it would come back and they would have to respond if the dots were the same color or not. So the results from these data revealed that there were no changes in cognition regardless of the condition, time, or task they did that day. As you can see from these graphs of the accuracy from each task, between rest and exercise, there is no improvements on cognition. The findings from this data set contrast previous data that has been done. In previous studies, it shows an increase in cognition after a moderate intensity exercise session. This emphasizes that we need to replicate the prior research findings in diverse populations that experience possible activity barriers and opportunities. Right, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this lecture.